Hey folks, Jerome Forestwood here. It is 3:21 p.m. on August 27th, 2025 in downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. It is 23 degrees outside on a partly cloudy afternoon in the city. In this video, I traveled for 1.8 kilometers starting by the bus stop at Denman and Comox, then so north on Denman, east on Nelson, north on Hornby, and my track at Robson Square. To support the channel, click the heart icon to send me a super thanks. For updates, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at JForestwood. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share it, and subscribe.
Hey folks, Jerome Forestwood here, just walking on Nelson Street, coming from Denman, where we started our stroll. I was just over at the bus stop there. And now we're walking through part of the residential area here on Nelson Street. And we are heading up and over into the downtown. Unfortunately, I sat down, took a look at my map, and realized there wasn't any buses coming for a few minutes, so best to use that time wisely and walk out of the West End. So come on with me as I walk out of the West End here on Nelson Street. So this is Nelson Street. Up ahead, this is Bidwell. You can see some of the construction they're doing. Some of the buildings on over here. Adding more units to a property. A lot of construction going on. Both here in the West End and across the city of Vancouver. So, very good to see, but we still need a whole lot more. We're going to be able to house everyone effectively. A heck of a lot more, unfortunately. Look at that, a lot of renovations happening across the street here. That scaffolding goes all the way up. Wow. Wow.
Oh my gosh, you pressed on me.
Just crossing Cardero. And we'll continue on Nelson. And see when you're over here. Nelson's really made up of a whole lot of these 3 to 6 story apartment buildings or condominiums. Could be either or. And then they got also larger towers, 10, 15, 30 stories scattered throughout the West End as well. And this makes the West End one of the most densely populated areas in all of Canada. So, and it's not uniform like other densely populated areas like St. James down in Toronto, which is basically one big housing development with a school in it and everything, and like large like towers that have like 30 or 40 floors. I'm not sure which, but you can fact check that yourself. But over here, yeah, there's a hodgepodge of different buildings. Very interesting, very cool to see. Just passing the Greenhorn Cafe right on over there, as well as Nicola Dry Cleaning Services. We just crossed Nicola. And like when you're talking about the West End, you can see like one project on this side looks like this, 3 or 4 stories on it. Then right across the street there's a giant tower, probably 20 stories on it. It's just kind of like the developers moved in, got whatever property they could, built what they wanted, and that's what we're left with. There's a whole mix and hodgepodge of different buildings. Makes it very eclectic. You get kind of like this cool vibe in here. Sometimes when people will move, they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. This is an interesting place to live. So, we're up at Bryleton. Strolling across Bryleton now. It's a very interesting vibe. This is what I love about densely populated areas is there's always people. It might not be crowded, but there'll generally be 1 or 2 people out going for a stroll or something like that. Or someone working hanging from a rope, cleaning windows. Right on over there. Pretty chill vibe. Here's Jervis Street we're approaching. You can see all the trees and green in the area. Including even these ferns right here. Just give it this lush feel. The shade over here too also makes it easier to stroll around the area. Especially on warmer days. I'm always just like looking around too at different buildings, different water features, different entrances, walkways, benches people are chilling at, sitting, you know, or where they would chill at and sit. It's all pretty cool.
How do you get to the grocery store from here, man?
Yeah, if you just keep going down this street about 15 minutes, you'll get on over to we're on Nelson right now. So yeah, there'll be the Denman Place Mall, and then you can just go in there. Yeah,
Okay, sweet. Thanks, man.
no problem. And look at the mix of the architecture here. This is so awesome. Look at these windows here. Let's not hover here for too long because people do live here, but loving that architecture there. It's just so awesome. That's it. You'll get a lot of buildings on over here that you think are from the 60s or the 70s, but a lot of the lower level buildings are a whole lot older than that. Even some of the towers, especially when you get into the west of Denman side here on Nelson Street. Some of the larger towers are older as well. But yeah, a lot of the other bigger towers are built like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s in different spurts during those decades. Just crossing Butte. But like with the story of Vancouver, building really started to slow down after the 90s into the 2000s and 2010s. There was less and less developments, and now we are where we are, 2025, and in a bit of a pickle. Yeah, with needing to find places for people to live. You know, places for people in need to live, places for people who just want to own and raise a family, and then also places for like the wealthy to live. So just so fascinating. And that's just part of the ebbs and flows of a city. Like a city will develop over time, and it has these growing pains as it goes along. So sometimes people will think I'm critical when I'm talking about housing, but I am to a certain extent. But at the same point in time, you're also taking into consideration, you know, over time, a city as like a human organism, and how, you know, when a human body grows, a city grows in much the same way, with growth spurts and stuff like that. And the only difference is sometimes it can retract the city. People can move out, people can abandon it, people can leave. But over here in Vancouver, we seem to be doing okay for now. To keep more people here, we need more housing, just to make it a more affordable for everyone. Not just for those people in need, but for those people that want to buy a home and live here too. Run a business, maybe work in a shop, something like that. Contribute back to society. So, just things I think about. That's a Decepticon. There's a Decepticon logo on his car. That's cool. It's like, is it really a Decepticon? Is it a Transformer? Just waiting here for the lights to change. Not gonna take long. Over here, we're gonna walk past the Butterfly building right here. It's a new building in the neighborhood. And we'll cross the street. Nice bike. So we'll continue on Nelson here. And then right here is a good spot to show you the butterfly building. Let's scroll it up. Look at that thing right there. It's tall. It's tall. And we had like some really cool construction workers who would like, when they were taking their lunch and stuff like that, up top of the building, and they'd film like TikToks and so people could see what the view is up there. Absolutely amazing. You can see so much. It's one of the highest points in the city now, if not the highest. Won't be for long. Whenever you're in a big city, there's always a little bit of a competition between developers. Who's going to build the next big tower? In my hometown of Toronto, there's even competitions where they'll add an extra floor here and there. And sometimes they'll even plan in adding extra floors because someone in another building will add a floor. And they'll be like, oh, well, we still have the plans to add an extra 5. Gets in 3 to 4 floors ahead of them. Can we do this now, regulations? And they'll go through the proper process and then get approved. It's so fascinating. So fascinating. And we have finally reached Burrard Street. This is where we're going to exit the west end. There's Burrard Street here. This is the border right on over here. We're at the border. The border between the west end and the downtown core. No, you don't need a passport or anything. You're okay. Still in the same city. Just changing neighborhoods. This is where you still get a little bit of green here and there, but it's a whole lot more urban over on this side. And we just crossed Burrard, and now we are in the downtown core. And over here you get a different style of building in some of these spots. Including buildings just like the Electra building right here. Take a look at this. Okay. So, different series of buildings for different purposes. Hotels, residential, a whole lot taller, a whole lot more of them. And a whole lot more of that noise too, because of course there are ambulances that are constantly going up and down Burrard Street because St. Paul's Hospital is over on Burrard, and they use Burrard Street as their way to get to wherever they need to in the city, because that's the first street the ambulances turn on to. What a day, what a day. We're at the intersection of Hornby and Nelson. And we're over by the Courthouse too. Across the street in just a minute. There we go. And third turn. Over here I'm gonna walk the Cathedral of Green. Looks like there's somebody out there practicing their argument for their case. All kinds of cases are disputed over here. Criminal, but also other cases too. Sometimes people are just fighting regulations so that they can and build a new building or do something different, and they have to take it to court to get it resolved. This is part of doing business. And you can see along here, and this is the courthouse, how they try to keep it very lush and green. Emphasizing with a more natural feel, like, you know, a little more calm and reassuring tone. I don't know if it works, but there is a psychology to the plants you have in your house and all that type of stuff, so whatever. The same thing goes into how people plan buildings and all that kind of stuff too, which is pretty cool. This is my street we're on now. We're going to turn up this way. And this will take us to the upper part of Robson Square. See, there's different areas for the law buildings to have little functions outside or be able to stand outside. You know, a little bit of privacy instead of being forced to constantly come to this public space. Anyways, folks, thanks for coming along. Just remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later, okay? Have a good day.